What's going on, traders? Of course, you guys know it isn't an easy market by any means. So if you guys think it's an easy market, then maybe you want to head the other way. But like always, we're going to take a look into the market right now. We are on a little bit of a bounce back. That's what I'm going to call this. I mean, it isn't a massive bounce back, but at least we aren't just getting pounded today. Let's take a look at what the action that's going on right now. The SPY is up to 436.10. Of course, we had an opening price of 433.85. And so we're going to take a look here. And you can see in the morning, we were all kind of just dropping down. So we came right back to kind of like that hourly resistance. And that's what I'd call it around here. So you can see around here to the left-hand side how this resistance is acting as resistance right now around the 436.40s. But what does this look like to me? This looks a little bit like a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders at the bottom. And I think that we're starting to really get to the point where we're really extended, right? One thing that I talked about on the Qs is how we finally started reaching extremes on the RSI. The RSI could start taking a bounce now as we get some stocks to get out of this downward pressure. And what do I see right now? I see Microsoft starting to push towards the upside. This is one stock that I definitely don't want to miss the turn because, of course, I am still looking to buy the dip. Just the question has been where to buy the dip, right? I feel like a lot of traders have this feeling like, yeah, I don't feel like we're going back down, all the way down to where we were in the bear market days, right? I mean, we could just go back here towards maybe 430s, but I don't see it going back to 400, let's say, on the SPY. If that does happen, yeah, that could definitely drag us and continue us down. Let's talk a little bit about the sector's action today. I'll take a look at some trading action. The only thing that I need to update you on the loss, at least, and then I'll update you on new trades, is BTU. Did get cut out in BTU today. And has it gone anywhere really? No, not really today. But I did get cut through this little drop down through the 2175 spot. And maybe just not giving myself enough room in this play and maybe jumping it up a little bit too much. It wasn't like a full size loss. It was a little bit under a full size loss, but I also didn't want to push it too much because I was really looking for a move above 22 and to hold. Yesterday, we were just there. We were at 2260s and pushing like we wanted to go higher. Today, we get a high of 2270s, but just can't take it through the 23 level and back to 24. Just tells me that I got to be a little bit wary. It might take a little bit a while before I actually get this move. So let's take a look at the sectors today. Of course, you got energy taking lead on the upside. And that's why I pay attention to the open, because if you look at it overall, you might think, you might be looking at different areas. Now, one thing that I definitely did see today is that technology came from the bottom area where it was actually red on the open to coming back to green. And not only just back to green, almost up a full percent from the open. This tells me that, yes, we got ourselves a little bit of a tech bounce back today. And why did that happen? Hey, as simple as this, guys. Wherever the market likes to hurt the most, it's going to go ahead and do so. And you guys can clearly see it. There was a lot of what? There's a lot of pessimism in the market as of late, and you're seeing everybody, or at least majority, turn really quickly to the bearish side. That's when I always feel like the psychology of the market is going to come around and do what? Whoosh, 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 just slap us left and right. And we need to be careful for that action, because the truth is we can't be thinking about things intraday the same way we think about things in the medium and the long term. So there's short-term outlook, intraday outlook, right? There's swing trading outlook, right? And there's also investment position outlook, right? And I think that at some point you need to be thinking about these things, right? Am I looking at the stock in more of an intraday outlook, or am I looking at the stocks here for an overall move? I like to pay attention to the overall moves in the rotation versus just intraday action, because intraday action can always change up due to what? The psychology of the game of longer term investing, right? And so what I think is a lot of people started opening up puts and shorts really quickly in this market. And this is how the market can tame you really quickly, especially for those people that, no offense, play, those OTD, ODT, 0 day to expiration moves today. I'm sure that a lot of them were kind of taking some puts on the last recent day and then realizing today with the market coming up, they're just getting destroyed on that theta. And if they didn't take the money and run, they're probably getting hit and right back down to a losing position probably when they were actually green. And I think this is how the market's going to go for the next couple of weeks, right? Until we could get through Labor Day and get through Jackson Hole. Of course, Jackson Hole is going to be next week, and I think that's something definitely to keep an eye out for. Jerome Powell can say a lot of things there, and I think that what he's going to do is do what? He's going to continue to say that the Fed is data dependent. He's going to continue to say that we are on our initiative to getting back to 2%. He doesn't know when that's going to happen, but that is his main focus here, not the markets. If the markets pull back a little bit, as long as it's not a financial concern, like let's say banks just breaking down and left and right, I don't think Jerome is going to be stepping in anytime soon. And so those people that think that he's going to step in, I honestly think the complete opposite. I wouldn't expect him to be stepping in here. And I don't expect to see any rate cuts until maybe later part of 2024, if not in 2025. And so for me to think that they're going to just cut because we're getting some downside pressure in the markets, I have no idea on that. And to tell you the truth, I don't think the Fed is so much market dependent as some people think. Some people think that the Fed just react to the markets, and which I don't really necessarily think so. But hey, we'll see what happens there. To each his own. If you feel a little bit differently, let me know in the comments and let me know why. All right, time to catch up some comments here. How we doing out there? It's good to see you guys. Turbin, Milky Fade, what's going on, guys? Raz, hola, ¿cómo está? Feels like Bloomberg's YouTube channel just stopped talking stocks. Yeah, you know how it is, man. There's certain medias that like to focus on the political side of things, and that's why I try to stick to the stocks. I know that a lot of people like to bring politics, and that's going to have some access into financial media, right? Like it is going to play some part, right? We talk about fiscal policy and monetary policy all the time, but the truth is that politics and political outlooks really don't make a difference to me, right? It's just like seeing a stock like today, Target, go up. Why is Target going up today? Well, to me, this seems like there's some bigger institutional traders starting to get in stocks like Target. So what could this be? Well, this could be the big FU to everybody talking about woke and broke. Well, tell you the truth, I think the institutions here are trying to make the money versus focusing on woke or broke, right? Well, they're here trying to make the money. And I think that you're starting to see some loading in there in Target as you saw that big volume come in. I'm looking at this like this is more institutional play, but we'll see what happens. And Mr. De Soto bringing in an interesting one, of course, of PanW going to reporting after the close. And one thing that I think happened today is that a lot of people tried to play this move on the day trade action. So you can see that in CrowdStrike today, getting that nice little lift higher. Look at the 5-minute chart. I quickly brought this chart up in the live trading stream, and that was during the 10 o'clock and 10:30 pullback here. And you guys could easily still have made a good trade on this. It still went up a little bit higher than that. Look at CS today. Take a look at Snow today. Take a look at Sentinel One. Take a look at whatever you want in this space. It did a lot better today than a lot of the days. And I think that we need to be trying to catch these days to definitely be getting that nice little lift. Even Cyber that doesn't really move too often, getting some nice little push. So this one's going to be interesting to see what happens with PanW. Is it just because people know what's coming up? I don't think that that's what it is here. But I think that, they don't expect it to be horrible. At least I feel like. And that's why they're playing the intraday action. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if you see a little bit of a sell-off right before the close as some people take some profits. And we're just playing it for what I call the rent versus the buy. All right, guys, like always, hit the like. I appreciate the love, Raz, and always good to see you guys out here. Mystery Man, what's up with you, man? What are you looking at today? All right, I think we will be up on the SPY on Monday. I actually think the opposite. I think this is just a little bit of a quick trick here to see us starting to come up, but we could be up in the overnight action. I would feel like maybe the futures action, and then timber down a little bit more. And I think that that's where we got to be careful, right? Because we are going to get a little bit of a move back, but is this the turn here? or is it going to be closer towards like the Q's 350s? I'm going to look for one more down action move, right? So a move to 354, 352 on the Q's will really get me to the point where I start dipping my toes and even tech names. So we'll see what happens on that outlook. Of course, Nvidia coming down today, but then bouncing back there to the 433s. And this is why I'm talking about be careful shorting Nvidia, because we could be playing this game back and forth until their earnings come out. And you never know what comes out on that earning. They might kick ass. I'm not going to go ahead and sit here and say that Nvidia is not going to show me the money, because if I try to make that bet, that's easily how they show me the money. And all of a sudden, a bunch of AI stocks take off. I've talked about the situation here on how a lot of AI companies have not given revenue outlooks, but Nvidia is one of those that has talked about the AI, right? So keep your eyes on that. Instead of me betting towards that, I'm going to be waiting to have a reactionary off of that information, right? If there's true revenue, I play AI to the upside. If there is not true revenue here in AI and the best company, Nvidia, gets wrecked and it's all based on not showing me the money, then you guys know exactly what I'll be looking at. I'll be looking at that this bubble is done and we keep coming lower. But if for any reason they are able to just give an okay report or maybe a decent report, but it actually just stays here and doesn't get hit, that's when we got to be careful, because we could come right back to the upside. So take a look out there, guys. I don't know exactly which way is that going to go. The only thing that I know here is that I'm going to be watching for a potential upside move, even right here. And you guys see the title. I opened this show up very early on in the day because I thought what could happen at 3 o'clock going into the end of the day. I thought that we could get a power hour rally, and I thought that we could keep this pushing just to squeeze some of the bears out of the market, right? And I think that this is exactly what you're seeing right now when you're getting these stocks to kind of push higher. Apple pushing higher today. Google actually coming down today, the opposite, right? Look at Tesla. Tesla staying up a little bit today. Even Jonas putting a negative outlook, but still keeping it up a little bit higher. Amazon pushing right back. And I think that we just need to kind of keep an eye on it. And a lot of times the market is going to love to do this, where it can shake you a little bit and try to get you to get out of your position pretty quickly. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is going on. A-OK. Mitch, thanks for the week review. Get a set for next week. And I think that's an important one. Like always, we'll keep watching what's going on next week. And we do have some earnings. So if you haven't gotten our new earnings calendar for next week, we'll just go over to our Twitter, of course, at Benzinga, to go ahead and get the earnings calendar for next week, August 21st. Of course, we start on Monday. We'll get Zoom after the close. That's definitely going to be something that's interesting. Then we get Lowell. We get, of course, Baidu. We get Dick's Sporting Goods, Medtronic, BJ's. You guys know I've been talking about BJ's as of late. Was wondering to see if Walmart was going to continue going down today. But man, a little bit of a recovery here in BJ's as it came down and it's back up to 69. Let's see what happens. Costco is still pulling back though. So my outlook of shorting Costco yesterday, oh man, that would have been a monster trade. I still remember I had the order out. I had the order out for 558 and just missed it by a little bit when this bounced back. And that's how it goes sometimes. It went to 555.50s. And if you look at the 5-minute here on yesterday's action, there was an opportunity where I could have maybe taken a shot when this went up to 557. And I just didn't go in by about a buck there, but it was a great opportunity to short Costco. Would have been already up about 2.3%. Walmart coming back here, though, just tells me to be careful in this space because we could get a move right back to the upside. We'll see what happens. Keeping an eye out on other names. Ollie also getting a little bit of a push today. PSMT, PriceSmart getting a little bit of a push. And just keep your eyes out because these stocks are getting a little bit of a lift. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm going to wait to see Walmart completely break down, but Target seems like there's somebody wanting in. We'll see what happens there. All right, let's keep going with the comments in the chat. It's always good to see you guys out there. Tiny said, we only care about NVIDIA. And I kind of can't blame you. I mean, that's what a lot of people care about, right? It's just the NVIDIA report. And that's what everyone's going to be watching next week. Let's just be honest. If NVIDIA does well, probably the market comes back. If NVIDIA does bad, well, I don't see this market coming back. Let's just be honest with that. We'll see what happens, guys. And it's going to be interesting just to see what kind of numbers are really given. That's what I'm going to be interested in. It's not necessarily tell me about AI. It's now show me the revenue. We'll see what happens. AMD bouncing back there to 105.95. You guys can keep an outlook on this. Let's go to energy. Energy continuing to push, and oil. I had my pullback opportunity on XOM, did not take it, which is down towards the 106 area here. Now it's back up there to 109s. Could be taking out the 110s and going higher. Talked about XLE and how that looks great here as it continues to climb. It's something to keep an eye out for. Let's talk a little bit about WTI. Of course, WTI is the front month crude, and it's back into the 81 handles after just recently kicking into the 79 handle for just about a day or two. And I think that this is where we need to kind of continue to watch. If we can get back above 82s, we're looking good. We go back into the 70s, and this trade might break down. We'll see what happens on that one. Didn't you have a retail expert on pre-market prep this morning? Yeah, I did have a retail expert on pre-market prep. Ryan Craver was talking a little bit about what was going on. And he talked about, some of these cheaper stores like Ollie's that could definitely do good in this environment. He also talked about some China names like Baba and PDD, which I'm not so confident in. But there's some outlook out there that I can keep an eye out for. We also talked about Nike and how that could continue coming down with demand in China really taking a hit. And China names, anything with big exposure to China could be coming down. So one that I didn't get to ask him about was Starbucks. Could Starbucks be breaking here and that be a part of the battle? That Starbucks is maybe doing bad in China? Of course, they have a lot of exposure to China. We'll see what happens there in Starbucks. All right, let's get back to the market out there. Microsoft is pumping and pumping here now towards 318. This is the kind of day that we've been waiting for, which is a reversal signal kind of day, right? And what did I talk about on my show multiple times in pre-market prep throughout the week was look for stocks to get extended away the 9 EMA and come back to it. Trust me, all day you're going to hear from different people out there that the 9 EMA, the moving averages, they just don't work. Well, the truth is there's a reason why we look at them as technical analysts. So to those out there, that's the only thing I can tell them is they're acting like what? They're acting like clowns, of course, guys, because the truth is that technicals do work and they're not necessarily intended here for you guys to trade off of necessarily them, but have descriptions on charts. Because the truth is, I don't want to always just go with the description that's in my right? What happened in the market today? No, I want different indicators to show me what's going on, and then I can react and trade off of that information versus using it as the true entry indicator. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to better understand where I could see the price action going. And if I can do that, that itself is a pretty good edge. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what happens in these other stocks, but Microsoft bouncing back. And the same thing I said about the Qs, you extend away from the 9 EMA, you could easily start working your way back to the 9 EMA. All right, Hammer saying that I prefer an SSMA or a volume VMA. There's nothing wrong with that, but I definitely like the 9 EMA. And the reason why I've talked about it plenty of times, it has to do with the moving average convergence, divergence, and that's something that I definitely look into. All right, let's keep going, team. We can take a look at different areas of the market. We also got a lot of kind of growth names to take a hit today. Let's go ahead and take a look as Carvana bounced back today. Affirm bouncing back today. So like the stocks that, just been beat up, bouncing back today, but was it a major move back? No. So this is to me just what we call a relief rally. So a stock that comes back up after what? After it's been pummeled, right? A couple of days Well, sometimes you're going to get what we call relief rallies. A lot of times, relief rallies end where? They end at the resistance or the prior support of the recent move. So I look to the left, I see I'm not even trying to look to the right. I'm just looking to the left here. Where's resistance? Where's support playing in? Looks like right around here, we were just kind of holding on support, a move around 39s. Now we get above that. Now we look at the second layer, and you can see here how you're acting as resistance around the 39.72s. So a move back down below 39s, I can go shorting on Carvana. A move back above 40s, I could go long off 39.70s. I think that this is how you got to be approaching a lot of the times trading, is always having both ends of the situation. Determining where the area it is you want to trade is going to be based a lot on rotation. And of course, I talk a lot and a lot on rotation here. And that's what I'm mainly all about, is trying to stay with where the money is going, not where the money is, right? And the important part there is understanding what things like value, growth names, right? Are we looking for GARP? What kind of current environment we're in is always going to help you get an edge on names like this, right? If it's a risk on type of day, yes, these make sense for the intraday rent. But if it isn't a risk on time overall in the current environment, that's when you got to be careful. So today you did get ARKK to kind of get a little bit of an up move, and you got a lot of the stocks there that were in the green today. Now, if those turn around, you got to be careful. As easy as they come down is as easy as they can get a little bit of a bounce and then get smacked right back down. What did we see on certain stocks today? Just kind of like this V bottom shape, right? And I think that now we need to be watching. Do we get a washout on Monday or a continuation day two move? A continuation day two move, and we could have already found the bottom. We'll find out. I think we get one more attempt to the downside. And that's where a lot of times the bulls let go, because they're like, man, we just had a good day on Friday. Now we have a bad day on Monday. Can I really think that we're going to have a good day Tuesday? Something to keep an eye out for, right? And of course, don't miss what happens to Nvidia. Of course, Nvidia is going to be out on Wednesday after the market close. So we could have another bullish day maybe on Tuesday, followed by what? Going into Wednesday, where we get a little bit of some worry. And then Nvidia's report comes in at night. That's going to matter more than anything, I think, in the market, even more than Jerome Powell's speech at Jackson Hole. To tell you the truth, that's the way I feel. All right, let's keep going, team. What else is going on out there? Where's my money going with Apple? We'll see. Apple is going to be trying to push themselves, gives themselves the catalyst when their iPhone is going to come out, which is in the next month. So that could be the catalyst to get them back, right? I've talked about 177 area was acting as support. We flushed through that, and now we're right back down there towards 50% retracement of the recent move. So if there's an area where we could look for Apple to kind of hold on to, it's going to be around this 173.60 down towards this 167. I always love to be in between the 50% retracement and the 61.8 retracement, which of course is the golden mean. And a lot of people look at that 50. So I look at the in between there, and I'm trying to get in between there and risk below the 61.8 to give myself a shot on a nice retracement for a move right back to the upside. We'll see if Apple is able to make that move. A real clear defining move will be like a recovery of 180 here. If that happens, yeah, we could be making our way right back to the upside. All right, definitely look at Money Mitch writing next week's headlines. You know it, Raz, and just got to keep an eye out for it, right? And I think that what I always like to do, guys, is just think about the market and where it's going, where it's heading. What are some warning signs that we can be looking for? And of course, looking for the next problem that can maybe present itself and be in the trader's forefront, the mind of the focus versus what we saw this week. It was all about technology. Will next week be the concern that comes into the banking situation? Or will we just see the banks bounce out of this? This is one thing that I definitely think we need to keep an eye out for. If we start seeing these banks just keep going down, that can be a worry. And I still remember when I was trying to short Goldman Sachs here at 358. I won't talk about that one. It's down there to 324. But this could go lower. Look at Citi. Look at Bank of America. We could be running into some more financial concern. So let's say on like Wednesday, we don't get good earnings from NVIDIA. I think this starts being the focus again, that the banks are going down and there's banking concerns, and the AI bubble has finally gone what? Bloop, kapoof, goodbye.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
That's the truth. And I don't want to see a lot of people get torn on that. That's the truth. And, you know, the only thing I can do is wave the red flags around. And then what do we need to do? We need to see where the actual money comes in. And Adobe, that actually has a product that is really using kind of regenerative AI, is still also pulling back. And this was one of my favorite AI plays that I think can actually make revenue from it. We'll see what else is going on. Isn't that from Rainbow Six? I think that's from Call of Duty, but hey, who knows? I'm pretty sure that's from Call of Duty, but we'll just keep going, guys. All right, we'll see what else is going on. Marty, you're long Adobe. It's not a bad name to be in long term for sure. I mean, I still remember when I was trying to call it here in the 380s, and that thing just took off like a rocket. That was the day that I mentioned Adobe could be a good AI play. Silly Mitch, you should have been buying it and then mentioning it probably, but that's how it goes sometimes. All right, let's keep going. We'll take a look at my new positions on the day. Smash the like. It's 358. Let me talk about those really quick before the market closes here. I did take American Airlines as I started to buy that dip. I talked about if it get below 15, I'd take a shot. So I got here a starter on at 14.96. I'm going to continue watching this one to see if we can start coming back. What industry is this one in? That's, of course, the airlines. But what sector? That's industrials. I'm going to look for industrials to start making their way back up as they start to catch a little bit of a bid back as they pulled back. So names like Deere, I also took a shot on today. This report was really good in Deere. And so I'm going to at least take a shot off of the report and the outlook, how things look great here versus bad. So with that being said, I took a shot on Deere and I am in the red on this position. I can't add one last time on Deere, but I have 397.47 as my average right now. Is that a bad thing? No, I'm below 400, which is what I wanted to be. And so as long as I stay below 400, I can start to kind of risk off of here towards the next level, which is going to be a move towards 390s. If it gets to 390s, it'll get me out. That's going to be about 7 points. But what can I look for reward? I'm looking for a reward back up through 420s, actually back up towards 440s and beyond. So as long as they could get back up there towards the 430s, I'd take first profits. And that wouldn't be bad either. We're talking about what, like a $23 move? If I'll risk $23 for 7 points, right? And I think that that's the important thing over 3-to-1 outlook. You guys know how I'm all about that 3-to-1. So every dollar that I risk, I want to make $3 if I win. That's what's important to me. All right, guys, that's going to be the bell today. And there's one last position I'll tell you guys about, which is a weird one. And why I say weird is that I've never actually traded a lumber wood production company. But I took a shot on this chart itself as it's a recent, IPO that came out in 2021. But I really like the way the monthly looks on this. And I like how it pulled back here. I'm going to look for a move back up towards 80 and back up through the 90s. This is going to be one that, I'll hold pretty close right now. I don't want to let this thing go back through 75, 50s. Really, I'm going to hold it to 75 to give myself a little bit of room. But other than that, if it breaks this kind of 74.97, 75 there, I'll get out of this name. I took a starter today. I was not able to add. I had an order out there sitting at 75.95s at 76 to add to here, and it just never filled. I'm okay with that. We'll see what happens on West Fraser Timber. And like always, guys, you guys can reach out to me at MoneyMitchBZ on Twitter if you guys have any question on any industry, any area of the market. That's what I'm here for. There's a reason they call me Money Mitch, and I'm always looking to help you guys understand the industries and sectors out there. So if you guys have some industries, some stocks, some themes you guys want to talk about, let Money Mitch know, and I'll be here to make sure we cover it all. Have a good night. Take care. Have a great weekend. And always stay safe out there. Work on those skills. Remember, every single week, we want to add at least something to our plate, right? Something to the skills. What can that be? Is it tape reading? Is it understanding of intermarket analysis like I do here on a lot of rotation and looking at, is it industrials that are going higher? Is it value? Is it growth? Like always, relationships, relationships, relationships. And we'll be here to battle with you right here on Benzinga, of course. I'll see you guys, like always, on Monday. Pre-market prep. Don't miss it. And Money Mitch is here to keep battling with you guys. See you next time.